7 additional Memphis police officers are expected to be disciplined in connection with the death of Sacramento native Tyre Nichols. That's according to the Memphis city attorney. The 29-year-old Nichols died days after he was beaten by Memphis police during a traffic stop last month. 5 of the officers are already charged with second-degree murder, among other charges, and according to an internal affairs document, one of those officers admitted he took 2 cell phone photos of a battered Nichols and sent them to several people. Demetrius Haley, one of 5 officers fired and charged with murder in Nichols' death, admitted that he texted a photo to 2 other Memphis officers and a female.
Yo, what? This is what everybody been waiting for.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
Man, welcome back to another episode of the Ruling Class Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, Diddy, back up in this bitch with another video. Listen, if you're new to the show, please know your boy is thirsty to grow and to drink some of this water. You can help me out by liking this video and subscribing to the channel. But don't worry, I'm going to give you a sec to do that to help me out. Y'all know how I go. Just hit that like button. Y'all know the routine. Just help your boy out. All right, so look, I appreciate you. I told you all that I would keep you all updated as more news, as more updates came out surrounding the stories of the murder of Mr. Tyre Nichols down in Memphis, Tennessee by the 5 black police officers. Now listen, I've dropped 2 or 3 videos on this topic, again, keeping you all updated. And I told you all, listen, I was just against people who are jumping to conclusions because I'm one of those people that like to follow the evidence, right? Or like to follow at least signs that point to certain things. We can all look at that video and say, yo, it appears that there was something personal going on, but we don't know. But for what it's worth, there is some news that is coming out now that's really making it appear that this may have just been personal at the very least. We still don't know if it was, you know, the baby mama, the whole baby mama storyline 100%. But we do know by this point in time that this was personal.
7 additional Memphis police officers are expected to be disciplined in connection with the death of Sacramento native Tyre Nichols. That's according to the Memphis city attorney. The 29-year-old Nichols died days after he was beaten by Memphis police during a traffic stop last month. 5 of the officers are already charged with second-degree murder, among other charges, and according to an internal affairs document, one of those officers admitted he took 2 cell phone photos of a battered Nichols and sent them to several people. Demetrius Haley, one of 5 officers fired and charged with murder in Nichols' death, admitted that he texted a photo to 2 other Memphis officers and a female.
Right. There is something called the Garrity Act or the Garrity Clause. I don't know if it's a clause or not, but the Garrity is basically something where, you know how we can plead the fifth as citizens, right? If someone asks us something and we feel like we're going to incriminate ourselves or we're going to incriminate someone we know and we don't want to quote unquote snitch, we don't want to say anything, we can just say, I plead the fifth. We don't have to say anything. Well, police officers, when they're involved in a case, they don't have that, at least not initially. On the scene, when investigators first approach them, by law, they have to, you know, give information up. They can't say, hey, I plead the fifth. I'd rather not say anything. I'd like to, you know, request my lawyer or consult with my lawyer first. They don't have that option, at least not initially, right? So during the Garrity Clause of Mr. Demetrius Haley, right? Demetrius Haley is the officer where it was rumored that his wife or his ex-wife or something of that sort was allegedly involved in a romantic relationship with Mr. Tyre Nichols that has not been confirmed as of yet. But anyways, during his Garrity Clause, he admitted that he sent pictures to other people, to other officers. What he did not admit was that he actually sent an additional picture to some other woman acquaintance or someone else that he did not admit it to. Right. So let's go to this article here. It says former Memphis police officer never told Tyre Nichols why he was pulled over. Department records say Haley approached Nichols while talking on the phone in a black hoodie. He yelled profanities despite no evidence that Nichols ever swore at or threatened officers. When Tyre Nichols was pulled over at E. Raines and Ross Roads in Memphis on January 7th, a Memphis officer wearing a black hoodie jumped out of his unmarked car and approached him yelling profanities while talking on the phone, according to a police decertification record provided to Insider. Then Officer Demetrius Haley, who has since been fired and charged with Nichols' murder, never told the 29-year-old why he was stopped or why he stopped his car, according to the records. which were provided to Insider in response to a public records request. Quote, you exited your unmarked vehicle, stopped in an opposing traffic lane, and you forced the driver out of his vehicle while using loud profanity and wearing a black sweatshirt hoodie over your head, which basically, in defense of Mr. Nichols, you don't know if that's a police officer or not. You don't know if that's a real police officer, or maybe you know who it is, and you're maybe fearful of what it is that he's about to do to you for unrelated reasons to your traffic stop or your alleged traffic stop, right? You never told the driver of the purpose of the vehicle stop or that he was under arrest. A day after Nichols' beating, the department released a statement describing a quote-unquote confrontation with an alleged reckless driver later identified as Tyre Nichols. The police chief, C.J. Davis, later said there was no evidence that Nichols ever drove recklessly. Haley, who joined the department in August 2020, was a member of the now disbanded Scorpion unit, is one of the 5 officers charged with the murder of Nichols. Haley, along with Tadarius Bean, Justin Smith, Emmett Martin III, and Desmond Mills Jr., pulled Nichols over less than 100 yards from his mother's home on January 7th and beat him so severely he died in the hospital 3 days later. Now, let me just say this. This is unfortunate. As I've said many times, I don't want to sound like a broken record. We understand, we all agree that this should have never happened. We all agree that the officer should have been charged. We all agree that this was an act of probably an abuse of power. Well, it was definitely an abuse of power, and probably something more personal is going on. This is what I want to say. Imagine that if it comes out that one of these officers, that being Demetrius Haley, who was on camera seeming to beat Tyre Nichols a lot more than the other officers were, imagine if it comes out that it was not only personal, but it had something to do, there was some credence to this rumor that's going around and circulating, right? That means that 4 other officers, some CND or EMD or EMT members, employees, also lost their job. 4 officers were also charged with second-degree murder. You all ruined your life. Some of you ruined your careers over somebody else's personal vendetta against another person. Imagine that. Imagine how you would feel if you're now, you still deserve to be held responsible because you decided to participate, absolutely. But just imagine if you're participating in something that you think is due to something another officer told you is within the law. And then it later comes out that, oh no, bro. So he actually never did anything. What you told us was a lie. This was actually personal. This has something to do with X, Y, and Z, your baby mama, or maybe a different story that we don't know about. Imagine how that feels. Imagine being a cop in a federal penitentiary where you're already not in a good scenario as a police officer. But imagine being a police officer also with the storyline coming out that you framed or you falsely beat a man to death for somebody else's personal vendetta. That's crazy. That's crazy. So I guess this story, the purpose of this video is to say, like, this story and the updates that's being released or that has been released is showing credence to the story. What do y'all think about this, man? Y'all hop in the comment section. Y'all give me y'all thoughts. This is crazy, man. I still don't see enough evidence to say that it has something to do with the baby mama. But y'all give me y'all thoughts. Y'all hop in the comment section. I'll continue to keep y'all updated. Until next time. Peace.
Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.